Let's settle for the news now, and we start with news on the district level elections. In a few hours, Ghanaians will go to the polls to choose who represents them at the various assemblies. The Electoral Commission has laid down its plans, expressing readiness for the exercise. A lot of factors will come to play in the choice of who gets the nod. Kamla Dom has been interacting with some residents of the Trobo electoral area who say roads and healthcare are key factors that will determine how they vote today.
Ahead of the district level elections, JoyNews finds out preparations made by the candidates in the Trobo electoral area so far and how prepared the community is for tomorrow's polls. Residents of Trobo say roads and healthcare delivery are key factors they will consider before casting their ballots.
I would go in for the person who would come and work.
Police, of course, he has done a lot of things. Even if somebody is not feeling well, you make sure that you come and pick the person to the hospital and take the person back. And a lot of activities have been going on here. At least he's the one that we are going to vote for him.
Interesting. Emzano?
Yeah.
Apart from what Asantwa and David have spoken to us about, the health screening, the drainage problems, the roads, what more has convinced you to vote for Mandela at tomorrow's polls?
Yeah, compared to what I've done, you see the street light. Before there was no street light here, but now you can go around this place, you can see light all around.
We should take this advantage and then tell people about the assembly election. It's equally important as the MP and the presidential, okay, because I know the assemblymen really work. They really work. I don't want to compare them to other, candidates. They really work. They work for the MPs and the presidentials as well. Yeah.
Incumbent assembly member for the Trobo electoral area, Mandela Yuafi Edward, believes he has done enough to secure another term in office to continue projects he's lobbied for.
Over the past 4 years, I have been with them. We have improved in terms of developmental projects, and that is why my people want to give me the second nod so that I can continue with the developmental projects. It is things that I have lobbied through our MP, through our municipal chief executive or our districts, and then through stakeholders within the community.
But some residents have vowed not to vote, citing empty promises from candidates as reasons.
I will not vote in the district level election. There is no need to vote.
But one to other people will make a decision on your behalf. Take care of it.
No, the minimum bet. The the Bema Biano, the Meme Panel, or bad, the person on your mamma. It's on the
I'm okay with whoever is choosing, but I won't vote.
Ideas need to assume. The almost on Benny Beato.
Oh, Beato Mason bet. Nina and Tronco. Ocaso, you be the Assamoma, and I'll be you in Abeaquan. It can't be obeyed.
All the ideas by the candidates are lies and are never fulfilled.
Yes, now Casa Obama made a baby acquainted to photos. Did I man? I didn't know one into photos, nothing into Obama and Abbey.
Trobo electoral area is still in focus. A few hours to the local level elections, and we'll be speaking to another of the candidates who is vying for the position of assembly member here. We've been hearing from some of the community folk. I'm joined by Robert Enchi Echampon. What ideas have you been sharing with the youth, and from your engagement with them, what has been their reception to the ideas you've been sharing?
My ideas that I share with the youth is about educating the youth on social vices. There is no denying the fact that the moral standard of our present-day youth is at a very low ebb and must be a serious concern to all citizens.
And how are you going to address this issue of the social vices among the youth?
I'll do a forum to educate them on that.
We have a third male candidate for the position of assembly member of a Trobo electoral area, Raymond Kofi Yeboah. We are just going to be speaking to him briefly to understand what ideas he's been sharing with the electorate and what the expectations are a few hours to the poll. What have you been telling the people?
We have a road network problem, sanitation, drainage system, and then street lighting. What am I asking them to vote for me? When they vote for me, together with the landlord association, then we can build a new Achimota to expectation that all we want to be. And what I need is their support And then because as an assembly member, you alone cannot do the work.
From 3 out of the 4 candidates who are vying for the position of assembly member for the Trobu electoral area, at the end of poll on Tuesday, it will be seen whether Mr. Mandela Rafi Edward, who is the incumbent, will be giving another term, or would it be Mr. Robert Nchi Champong who will be giving the mandates, or would it be Mr. Kofi Yeboah who will take the position? I have to say that we tried to speak to the 4th candidate, Madame Nafiatu, but we were unable to reach her. So divided views and opinions from electorates here. Some of them you heard say they are not going to vote at all. Others are going to go out and vote. It remains to be seen how it all pans out. So from the Trobu electoral area, specifically Kingsby Roundabout, I am Komla Adom reporting for Joy News.
Meanwhile, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers say they will deploy 1,100 election day observers to monitor today's elections. Now, this number also includes about 800 stationary as well as 300 roaming observers. Addressing a press briefing right here in the capital, the acting co-chairperson of CODEO, Sheikh Arimiyao Shaibu, said the observers will be deployed across randomly selected polling stations across the country.
Over the past 6 weeks, CODEO civic, voter, peace educators and district directors of NCCE have visited thousands of communities across Ghana, engaging and sensitizing members of the public about the need to take part in the upcoming elections. CODEO complemented the efforts of these educators with multimedia campaigns on traditional and social media. As was indicated in CODEO's lunch last month, the coalition's objective for these civic education activities is to promote public awareness of, understanding of, and participation in the elections. CODEO's civic education activities in respect of the elections ended Friday, December 15, 2019. While CODEO's civic education activities were underway nationwide, the coalition also kick-started its preparation for the deployment of Election Day observers. On November 25, 2019, CODEO began its cascade training activities for observers, beginning with a training of trainers workshop for 28 regional coordinators. Between December 9 to December 12, 2019, the coalition conducted a regional level training workshop for all its observers. As a result, for the 2019 district level elections, CODEO will deploy about 1,100 observers, comprising 800 stationary polling station observers and 300 roaming observers on election day. To ensure that CODEO's information system are ready for election day, CODEO carried out 2 simulation exercises on Friday, December 13 and Sunday, December 15 for all its observers. On election day, CODEO's National Information Center will be hosted at the premises of its secretariat at the CDD Ghana offices. From the foregoing, I am pleased to announce that CODEO is ready to observe tomorrow's district level elections and unit committee elections. We will be bringing to you our traditional midday report and a close of polls report. CODEO calls on all eligible voters to go out tomorrow and vote to deepen local government and local governance. Voters should also obey the electoral laws of the country to support free, fair, and credible election. As always, CODEO will uphold its principles of non-partisanship, objectivity, and neutrality in the execution of its activities. CODEO further appeals to the media to be circumspect in its coverage and reportage of elections.
Away from the district level elections, residents of the airport residential area here in Accra are demanding the immediate halt to the construction of a 22-story building overlooking the Association International School and some houses there. Authorities of the school say the construction has taken over one of the major roads in the area and is posing risks to residents and students. She says the work has forced parents to use alternative routes whenever they drop the children off at school. There's more in the following reports.
The building at the center of the controversy is located close to the Association International School in the airport residential area. Residents say a Turkish investment firm is undertaking the construction of the building, which is believed to be a 22-story shopping mall. According to them, the heavy construction is affecting buildings in the area, including schools, some of which have developed cracks as a result. Headmistress of the Association International School, Audrey Dayumo, fears the construction poses a real risk to students and residents alike. She tells JoyNews several petitions to all relevant government officials have fallen on deaf ears. According to her, even after the court ordered the contractors to stop work, they refused.
We cannot let it happen. We cannot let this people come in and flaunt our laws in front of us and basically not adhere to what the laws of our land protects us against. So let's rise, let's basically come against this illegal construction and stop them in their shoes. Despite everything, they're still building. That means that somebody big must be behind them. But we need to find out who that big man is, because you are not going to get away with it. Not this time. You went ahead and you built Mirage. I'm sure under the same guise, but this time you've got us to fight with, and we've gotten the community involved, so we are going to make a difference.
A major road here, Senchi Street, is presently caving in as a result of the construction. The residents want the authorities to intervene quickly before a disaster occurs.
It is causing a lot of traffic. Without notice, it's closed. It's a danger because it's taking half the street. Saturday, I was walking to my friend's place just here, and there is no how do I say, you know, the hard hats and whatever, and there's stuff written to say this is a construction site, careful, what, there's nothing. And it was cloth. There was cloth, yellow and gray cloth they'd used to cover the site, which is totally not the case. I believe that if the court has already told them to stop work and they're doing it with impunity, when it's time for the cranes, you can imagine.
Beyond amazed or frustrated that a building which apparently has no building permit can be started, can continue. Our property has had the external wall collapse. The wall is very close to the boys' quarters, and the builders have absolutely no concern. Their attitude is, well, don't worry, if it collapses, we'll compensate you. But there are people living in that boys' quarters, and so how can you take the attitude that allow it to collapse and then we will compensate you? And I can't understand that the Ayawaso Municipal Authority are there to protect our interests and have absolutely nothing. They appear to have no interest in putting a stop to their building until appropriate building permission is given.
The residents and school authorities say failure by the authorities to act quickly may result in casualties. They are demanding immediate action from municipal authorities. Efwa Evans Chinris reports for JoyNews.
Now let's go to the Bono region, where chiefs and people of Diaba in the Doman West district have sworn to protect the Mpemusu Forest Reserve, which is fast being depleted by illegal loggers who have thronged the area. According to them, most of the plant and animal species in the forest have become endangered, and this is due to illegal activities by these loggers who hide behind the cover of darkness to perpetrate their crime. This came to light when the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Suma Chreme visited them after touring the forest reserve. I'll bring you the latest from Latif Idris.
I'm in the 316.96 square kilometer Mpemeso forest in Diaba in the Bron Ahafo region. This is part of government's initiative in the areas of the forest investment program aimed to protect Ghana's forest reserves. Research conducted by various institutions have reported how fast Ghana's forest reserves are being depleted. The Forest Investment Program is one such initiative adopted by government to protect these forest reserves.
The chiefs have also called on the central government to take center stage in the protection of reserves. The 33,000 hectares of the Mpepesu Forest Reserve was once the most eco-friendly reserve in the country. The forest, in recent times, has been invaded by farmers who undertake unsustainable farming expansion and also by illegal loggers. The chiefs say animals in the reserve are now going extinct as a result of activities of the loggers.
Oh, forest no dey yamanfo no ye bo ho ban sanse yenyafa so pi free so.
The forest is very beneficial to us. We therefore implore government to put measures in place to protect it.
Responding to the call, Land and Natural Resources Minister Asuma Chireme said government has taken notice of the worrying trend in the depletion of the country's forest reserves and is rolling out policies, the Forest Investment Program, to protect them.
When you went there, you were told that YE has undertaken this project, and YE does not exist in isolation. It comes from forestry sector, which falls under Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. So the government has a hand in it. The government is determined to recover the lost forest, though with difficulty. As we are here doing this work with our technical directors monitoring the exercise, a day may come that these saboteurs may enter this forest at our blind side and then harvest the trees anyhow, the way they want it. So all that do not help us to go on as we want. All such conduct will not help us to attain the goals that the AU is talking of. But we are doing our best. And that's why we have rules and regulations governing the forest. So those who will be found culpable, the law will deal with them.
Forest guards there who have in recent times worked under life-threatening conditions that have led to the killing of some of their colleagues appealed to the minister and government to fast-track processes in securing them firearms, fight off aggression from illegal loggers.
Commission have sent us to gone for training in Asuchari for some time now, and they promised us bringing guns for us to protect the forest. We are well, if we are well equipped with guns and so the gadgets and then so many things, then we can protect the forest well for us, because those people there are using guns. They are using serious ammunition. So when you go and see them, there are many. You can't combat them. So you have to return and call back for reinforcement. The moment you call for reinforcement, when you come, they will run. So if we are equipped with guns and so many things, we can protect the forest. There are so many incidents. They kill some of our men, and some of our men are hurt. They brutalize them, and so many things. So we are pleading with the government to fasten the distance, so that the process of equipping the gas, so that.
So far, no arrest of those purported to be carrying out the illegality has been made in the vast forests. Latif Idris's report for Joy News.
And in the Upper West region, Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali has appealed to the Managing Director of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, Osmani Yauba, to resort to dialogue in dealing with public institutions that owe the company. Rafiq Salam has the rest of the story.
One-day working tour of the Upper West region by the Managing Director of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, Osmani Alodiba Ayuba, is to interact with officials of the company on their concerns and challenges they are facing in their operations with a view to finding lasting solutions to them. His first point of call was at the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, where he called on the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali. One thing that was key on their discussion was the huge bills owed by public institutions in the region, which the regional minister pleaded for more consultation between the institutions and the NEDCO. A couple of months ago, Vieira NEDCO embarked on a special disconnection exercise, which led to the disconnection of the WA campus of the University for Development Studies, UDS, and the WA Polytechnic. The two institutions owed Vieira NEDCO a total amount of a little over 7 million Ghana cedis. The Upper West Regional Library is also on the verge of bearing the brunt of the Vieira NEDCO, as they owe several thousands of Ghana cedis through unpaid electricity bills.
Often you threaten them by indicating that you're going to cut supply of your services to them. Whatever it is, I will appeal to you to always sit and dialogue with them so that together you can lay down a plan where they can graduate the payment of their indebtedness.
We don't expect that you can cough the money all at once for us. So for those that we think they cannot immediately get the money, we come into an agreement with them, sign an MOU, and that is normally mutual. We sit and talk and see what is reasonable to each party. So on this Ghana Library Board, I don't know what happened, but I'm sure my team would have agreed with them before they reach. And if they are finding it difficult to honor that, we can always go back to the drawing board again to look at the numbers.
The NEDCO MD, Osmanu Alodiba Ayuba, ceded to the request of the regional minister of setting up a dedicated power station for the new Upper West Regional Hospital to prevent the state-of-the-art equipment installed at the facility from being destroyed as a result of power fluctuation.
We should do everything in our capacity and capability to see how we can protect this very expensive equipment. So my area manager, together with area engineers, have started working on assessing how much it will cost, the estimate to get a dedicated line for that. And so very soon you would hear us come with such an estimate. And if it goes beyond us, of course, we would also talk to the Minister of Energy.
Mr. Osmanu Alodiba Ayuba ended his day with a staff deba at the work office of Vieira NEDCO. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And that's it for the news, Maps.
Yes, that's it. And up next is the newspaper reviews. Remember, you can join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with JoyNews on TV. Stick and stay.